Hi, this is Kate, and I have a couple of new questions for you. First of all, do you ever have a secret moment where you're thinking, oh no, not another one of these clients, when a woman who is in an abusive relationship walks in your door? Or do you find yourself staying awake at night because you're worrying about whether or not she's safe? Well, as a frontline worker, there are things that you can do to help her stay safe. And that is what these 3 training videos are all about. These videos will help take you a little ways down the path to feeling comfortable and competent and knowing that you know how to help a woman who is in distress because of abuse in her relationship. So I'm Kate Tompkins. I'm a therapist in Nova Scotia. I've been a therapist and an adult educator for 50 years. And one of the things that I did most frequently in my career was to teach basic counseling skills to frontline workers, people like nurses and social workers, union reps and supervisors. I've also taught basic listening skills and basic counseling skills to people who are going to volunteer at crisis call lines. I've helped communities establish um, community peer counseling groups so that people could help their friends and their neighbors over a cup of coffee at the dining room table. So I've trained volunteers and helped set up the services. I've helped set up women's shelters and trained staff and volunteers of women's shelters. So this video series is to help introduce you as a frontline worker to what you can do to help women who are experiencing abuse. Now, in the first video, we looked at a technique, an approach, which can, under some circumstances, help a woman end the abuse in her relationship, but keep the relationship. And we looked at some circumstances in which it would or would not be appropriate to use that skill. In the second video, we looked at how to coach a woman, how to set boundaries effectively, and how to make them stick. And we looked at some of the things that you as a frontline worker can do to help a woman get ready to make big changes in her life. In this video, I want to talk about how you can coach a woman to assess the success of her boundaries after she has delivered them to her abusive partner, and what to do if those boundaries are not successful, and how to leave safely. So imagine that you know where to start, you know what to say, you know what to do when you are working with a woman who is experiencing woman abuse. And imagine that you have tools that you can give her. Imagine that you have a step-by-step guideline that gives you action steps that you can take under different circumstances, and imagine that you feel confident and comfortable working with this clientele. So how does a woman assess the success of her boundaries? Well, there's 3 things that she could look at. She could look at changes in attitude, changes in knowledge, and changes in behavior. Now, a change in attitude would be, for example, her abuser wishing and wanting to treat her better, wishing and wanting to talk about the dynamics of their relationship, being open to discussing the dynamics of their relationship. Knowledge, increased knowledge, would be things like understanding, being able to talk about the dynamics, understanding the cycle of violence, for example, understanding where dominance and violence come into the picture, into the big societal picture, maybe wanting to share his knowledge that he learned at a support group for men who are abusers. Those are interesting signs and guidelines. When it comes right down to it, the only thing that really matters is changes in behavior. So your client could keep track, could maybe keep a journal of when and how abuse occurs, under what circumstances, and she can keep track. Is there less abuse? Is there more abuse? Since I delivered my boundaries, is the abuse that I am receiving more serious or not, more dangerous or not? How do I feel about it? Do I feel hopeful or do I feel frightened? So if she still feels scared, there's probably a good reason for that. If her abuser has not honored her boundaries and there is still abuse happening, it's probably time to leave. If that abuse is becoming more dangerous, it's time to leave. If she is just tired and fed up and she's had enough, it's time to leave. She may feel that way in spite of the fact that her partner is beginning to change, but it may be too late for her. So if she's just simply had enough, it's time for her to go. So how does she leave? Well, one of the most important things that you as a frontline worker can do to help your client is to make sure that she is closely connected to a women's shelter and also connected to the regional police force, because this is the most dangerous time for your client. When she's getting ready to leave, when she's thinking about leaving, when she is leaving, and right after she has left, this is when most serious violent violent episodes happen. This is when most domestic homicides happen, because her abuser is trying to hold on to her so that he can keep her in a situation where he can perpetuate whatever their relationship has been prior to this moment. This is the most dangerous time for her. So it's critical that she be connected with a shelter and with the local police. It's very important that she have an escape plan, which includes not only what is she going to pack and take with her, where is she going to go, how is she going to get there, how much money she will use, but who's going to help her. So it's very important to enlist the help of someone, preferably the local police, to guard her essentially while she is moving out. If the local police are not available or don't respond well to this kind of request, then the shelter will have some advice about what the best thing to do in her region is, who the best support persons are in her region to help her actually move out. Then once she calms down and she feels safe, then it's time to take a look at the elements of a new life that she'll need for herself. One of the things that she'll need to do is to heal from the trauma that she may have, heal from the trauma that she has probably experienced in her relationship. So the best bet for you as a frontline worker at this point is to refer your client to a therapist who specializes in trauma, treatment of trauma, because there are a number of things that an ordinary helper probably doesn't know how to do. I'm not saying you don't know your job, but this is the time to be calling in the expertise of a specialist. Something you may be able to help her with yourself is to help her examine her own patterns in relationships. Now, I'm not for a moment going to suggest that any woman is responsible for abuse that is visited upon her by an abuser. But as my grandfather used to say, it takes two to tango. So she probably would like to take a look at, well, maybe whether she likes to or not, she probably should take a look at what her role has been in perpetuating the violence in her relationship, perpetuating the abuse in her relationship. That may not be easy for her to do, but it is really important if she's not going to simply recreate the same kind of relationship with a new partner. She'll want to look at the qualities that she wants to see in a new partner so that she'll recognize them when she sees them. She'll need to learn how to assess the dynamics in her relationship and how to identify early warning signs of possible future abuse. There may also be other things that she'll need to look at. For example, keeping her social media profile, probably removing her social media profile, probably finding a place to live that her abuser doesn't know about, possibly even changing her name and the name of her children, possibly moving to some new area. There's a number of factors that need to be considered when it comes to creating a new safe life. And it's a lot more complicated than I can actually talk about in this video. Now, there are a number of thoughts that might be going through your mind right now. One of them might be, wait a sec, I've got some abuse in my own past, and I'm a little concerned that some of my feelings may pop to the surface. This is a legitimate and genuine concern. Many of the people who end up in helping professions are there because we've got the life experience. We've been there. We've been in abusive relationships, and we've probably dealt with them to some extent, hopefully a great extent. However, it is entirely possible that while you are busy helping a female client, listening to her story may trigger some of your own emotions and some of your own memories. So if you're concerned that you still have some emotional baggage left over from abuse in your own past, perhaps you should take a little bit of time to consider treatment for yourself first before you get involved with female clients who are experiencing this kind of abuse, just to make sure that you can regulate your own emotions. Now, you might also be thinking, wait a sec, I don't really understand what's going on in abusive relationships because I've never experienced it myself. I don't have that life experience. You may be thinking, I was raised in a safe family. I didn't ever experience abuse from my own family of origin. And the relationship I'm in right now is respectful and healthy and loving. So I'm not sure I really understand. Well, even if that is the case, you can still learn to be helpful. You can still learn what the dynamics of abusive relationships are all about, where it comes from, how it gets perpetuated. There are many ways to do that. One way is to sit down and talk with other women who do have that life experience. What were their challenges? What were their successes? How did they manage to escape? How did they manage to manage their relationships? You can learn a great deal by sitting down over a cup of coffee and talking to other women who have that life experience. You can listen to your clients, listen to what they have to say. You can do research online. There's tons of stuff online now. Many websites have lots of information, especially mostly aimed at women who are involved in abusive relationships. But if you don't have that life experience yourself, it's a great place to learn. It may be difficult for you to read about some of the stories that other women tell. And if you find that you're finding it really difficult, take a deep breath and keep on reading. You need to understand what it's really like because that's what's going on in your client's life right now. So that's a really good way to learn online. Another way that you can learn is to learn from the system that I have developed. So I've developed a comprehensive course aimed especially at frontline workers. It's called the Breakout Pro for Frontline Workers, How to Respond Effectively to Women in Abusive Relationships. And it's especially for people like nurses, physicians, social workers, addictions workers, child protection workers, counselors of various stripes, psychotherapists, staff of women's shelters, pastors, chaplains, ministers, priests, union reps, supervisors, anyone who is working in a job or finding themselves in a position where they encounter women who may be involved in abusive relationships. If that group of people I just described is you, then this course is especially created for you. It contains it contains 6 action-packed modules with a number of different kinds of learning resources to help you learn more effectively. It includes weekly Zoom chats so that you can network with other students who are all frontline workers themselves so that you can share strategies. You can share, okay, what worked with you? Here's a resource that I worked with that was really helpful. Here's a challenge that I had. That kind of support, a supportive network is absolutely priceless. It also includes 1 hour of one-to-one coaching for every student. And also there is access to much more intensive coaching if that would be of use to you. It also includes 70 CEC credits from the Canadian Counseling and Psychotherapy Association. It includes a number of resources that you can download to use to work with your female clients. The main part of the course is self-study. You can work at your own pace. Approximately 6 weeks is allotted for this course. Now, it doesn't start quite yet. It begins on December the 4th. And registration is open now, but only until December the 2nd. So if you're interested in this course, there's only a limited number of seats available, so I'd suggest that you register on the early side. This course is designed to make you feel comfortable and competent that you know how to help your female clients who are in abusive relationships. To register, please click on the link below in the comments. I think you'll find that this is a comprehensive course. It'll be fun, and you will meet a lot of other people who probably will be career supports for you for quite some time. So I really look forward to seeing you in this course. Please register at the link below. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. I'll be quite happy to answer any questions that you have. So thank you for watching this series of 3 training videos. I hope it's been helpful to you. If you want to pursue these skills and knowledge further, please register in the link below. Thanks a lot. Bye.